Hi guys, and welcome to another session of Honest Talk About Women, where you'll learn tips, tricks and strategies on how to navigate the minefields of dating and relationships. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also comment in the comments section. It all helps with the YouTube algorithm. Okay, let's get right into it. This is about dating in your 50s, and it's applicable if you're in your 20s, 30s or 40s. So let's get right into it. So who would have thought, being in your 50s, you'd be out there dating again? Well, that's life, and sometimes life throws curveballs at you and you think you're going to be married for the rest of your life and it doesn't work out. So you're back in the dating game and you've got to adjust and adapt to the changing dating game that has occurred out there. So you look at your parents and they're still married after 65 plus years and you think, geez, why can't I do that? But things have completely changed. Women have completely changed. Guys have completely changed. And you've got to adapt to changing times. So my advice to you guys before you get into the dating scene is you've got to be prepared mentally and physically, okay? So with mentally, you've got to be in a positive frame of mind, okay? You can't dwell about the past, how unlucky you've been, or about the shortcomings of your previous partners. Please don't wear your heart on your sleeve and get very emotional on your first date about your previous issues with women. That's a huge turnoff. Be optimistic, be positive, and look forward, not back. Also, physically, you've got to be in shape, guys. So as the years go on, and as you get older, a lot of people don't change their eating habits from their 20s, and they tend to put on a lot of weight, and they start to give into the comfort gene. Instead of going for a walk in the afternoon with the dog, they decide to lie on the couch, or instead of playing sport in the weekends, they decide to stay in bed a bit longer. So you've got to be in shape, otherwise you'll attract like for like. Once you've got the physicalness sorted out and the mental state sorted out, you're good to go. And you've got to market yourself. And there's a lot of people out there that don't know how to market themselves. In fact, I'd say 90% plus of guys don't know how to market themselves. And I've got a video that I'll link at the end on how to prepare yourself for a dating app, should you go down the dating app route. Okay, so when you start dating again, there are certain negotiables and non-negotiables. And you've got to work out what works for you. So in my experience, dating in the 50s, I have certain non-negotiables, okay? So the person I want to date can't be a smoker, okay? They've got to be a non-smoker. And I remember talking to some woman on a dating app and they had a persistent dry cough. I said, are you a smoker? And she said, yes. Is there an issue? And I said, yes, I don't do smokers. So that was the end of that conversation. Smoking can lead to cancer. And there's going to be there could be possibly health issues down the track. So non-negotiable for me. She's going to be less than 45 minutes away. Don't do long distance relationships. Complete waste of time. The success rate is very small. They've got to be accessible within a 45-minute drive in your local town. Time is of essence, and you don't want to piss around with long distance relationships. The height. This is very personal. With me, the height is going to be between 5'4" and 5'10". I'm 5'10" myself. I prefer someone the same height or smaller. I don't want anyone too tall or too small. So between 5'4" and 5'10", which is roughly 160 centimeters to 180 centimeters. I'm not an excessive drinker. What's my definition of excessive drinking? Look, 1 or 2 glasses of wine, that's fine. During a night, that's fine. But when you're going up to a bottle of wine per night, then there's underlying issues with that person. There could be underlying issues with that person. So I don't drink myself. My preferred liquid drinks are water and green tea, and I just love it. And I'm a hell of a lot better without alcohol. So another one is no drugs. I don't want anyone doing drugs, and they've got to be physically fit, healthy, and no kids. So obviously, if you're in your 20s and 30s, you're looking at starting a family, that's absolutely fine. If you're wanting to have someone that wants to have kids, but I'm in my 50s, I've had 2 marriages, I've got 2 daughters, I don't want any more kids. So that's a non-negotiable for me. So any woman that wants to date and they want to start a family, no, I'm not doing it. So then you go on to the negotiables and the looks of a woman. that's negotiable. I don't need the top shelf woman. I've dated a lot of women. I've had a lot of experiences. I've dated top shelf women that are smoking hot, and I can tell you that it's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside that counts long term. You've got to be living with this person one day, or going out with this person, and they've got to be have all their faculties together on the inside. In terms of income, it doesn't really bother me what a woman earns. If they're not a high performance earner, that's absolutely fine. If they're earning minimum wage, that's absolutely fine. Money's not an issue. I don't value what a woman earns. It's not an issue with me. And so that's my non-negotiables, and that's my negotiables. So guys, don't make your list too big, because the more detail you have, the more conditions you have, the harder it's going to find that person, and the smaller the pool of potential suitors is going to be. So keep it small and realistic. Don't be delusional and unrealistic. And also, a lot of it depends on your sexual market value, how you can draw in women. Are you a good catch? Do women attract you easily? Therefore, your non-negotiable list may be a lot longer than mine. So keep it very simple and very short. Now, a lot of women these days have their own list of what they're looking for, and I consider it delusional and in a different alternative reality. A lot of women. So a lot of women have the 6'6". That's quite common in the West. So they've got to be 6 foot plus. So that's probably 5% of the population are 6 foot plus. Depends on country to country, of course. They've got to have a 600 horsepower car. How many guys drive a 600 horsepower car? Very few. They're going to have six-pack abs. That's nice to have. They're going to have a six-figure salary. And a lot of women I know who I've dated said you could have a six-figure salary, and that shouldn't be the case at all. They're going to be 6 inches down below. Again, delusional, and they're going to be 6 months before the last relationship. See, most of these are totally delusional key points that women are looking for in guys. I can tell you that I fail most of this. I'm not 6 foot tall. I'm 5'10". I don't drive a 600 horsepower car. I drive a Tesla, which is 540 horsepower. I don't have six-pack abs. I have a flat stomach, flat chest. I have 2 abs at the top, and then just a flat stomach. It can be tightened up with the right gym exercises, but I'm very happy in my skin. I look athletic. I feel good. I'm good. So I'm not developing a 6-pack. I'm not going to be a gym buff, but I do go to the gym 3 times a week. 6-figure salary. Most of the time I earn a 6-figure salary. There's been times in the past when I haven't earned 6 figures. I've been building the business. I've paid myself less than the minimum wage, and to grow a business. So every cash flow, every dollar counts when you're building the business, to pour it back into research and development or into more manufacturing of widgets or whatever business I was in. So I haven't been consistent with the 6-figure salary, but that shouldn't be an issue. And then 6 inches down below, I've never got a tape measure out to measure it, but I can assure you of all the women I've had, they've never been unsatisfied in the bedroom. And then 6 months before your last relationship. Yes and no. After my second marriage, it was over. There was a physical altercation between my wife back then and my youngest daughter. Once that occurs, there's no going back. It's like when a punch is thrown or when a bullet comes out of a gun, you cannot undo that. It's done. So my relationship was over. There was no potentialness for reboundness. So I was out dating, and so I don't agree with that delusional list of what women have. If you go back to my list of my non-negotiables, very simple, and it's what I keep to. And as depending on how old you are, will depend on what list you have, and also your sexual market value. So let's continue on. So the best way to meet people is through natural interaction, and I've got a video on options for guys to meet people through natural ways rather than dating apps. Dating apps should be secondary because there's a lot of trickery associated with dating apps. A lot of people are not what they post in their photos, And also, you've got to do your dating app properly. So most guys don't know how to market themselves, and they just do selfies of themselves with their safety vest on, driving to work with a seatbelt on their car, and it shows zero effort on how to market themselves. You've got to spend a bit of money, and I'm not talking thousands of dollars. I'm only talking a couple $100 in terms of clothes, and also a couple $100 in getting a photographer. Get a student photographer or someone who's got all the gadgets and takes a good photo, and go to a nice park in the afternoon or first thing in the morning with the sunrise and get some professional photography. I think I paid $200 or $220 at the time for a photographer to take some shots of me, and it makes a huge difference. Huge difference. And I've also got a video on how to market yourself in a dating app. The good news is, guys, is the competition is very low, and 90% of the guys don't even make it to first base. But if you prepare yourself and put some effort into marketing yourself, you can do really well. And a lot of women only go for the top 10% guys, and they discard the other 90%. So it's highly competitive on the dating apps, and you got to look your best and put your best foot forward. Never get addicted to dating apps. The end goal is to get off as soon as possible. And there's a lot of people I've met. I met recently a guy and a woman who are on dating apps, and they just love the excitement, and they've been on it for about 2 to 3 years, and they won't get off it, because once they meet someone, they think they can get better and better and better. They think they can get the next good catch out there. So don't be delusional, guys. Time is ticking. You don't want to spend a lot of time and effort on dating apps, because one, it's very time consuming. Two, it can be very expensive. So try and have that in the back of your mind. You want to get in and out quickly off a dating app, should you use a dating app. So I've only really ever used a dating app 3 times in my life. So it was before my first marriage, it was after my first marriage ended, and then again after my second marriage. So I've only used it 3 times in my life. And I met both my wives not on dating apps. I met them through natural interaction. So my first wife I met at a business function, and my second wife I met through mutual friends. So make sure you get out there and mix and mingle as your priority, guys, rather than relying solely on dating apps. What have I learnt in the last 25 years, 10 years, and 2 years ago when you're using dating apps in between long-term relationships? There's a few things that I've noticed, guys. And one is people have become larger, okay? So I'm not talking just about women. Both guys and women have become larger. It's just the way our society's going. People are getting larger. And it's not appealing to look at someone who has a large figure. You've got to work on it, guys. Work on your physical body to be in shape. Another thing is the increasing amount of tattoos. So tattoos have skyrocketed in the last 25 years. And there has been studies out there of people that are heavily tattooed have closely resemble or connected to early childhood traumas. So there is a direct correlation there from some of the studies that have come out. So be mindful of that too. And also, women have become more masculine over the last 25 years. Very often I see women with their primary profile photo showing their huge big tattoo on their arm, on their upper arm, and they're very proud of it. And it's a changing landscape out there, guys. It doesn't do it for me. It works for some guys, and that's great, but it doesn't do it for me. Just be mindful. Somewhere along the line, you're going to have to take this woman home to introduce her to your mother, and your mother will most likely be a lot more conservative than that person. And if you turn up with someone that's heavily tattooed, I don't know how that's going to go. So some things stay the same over the last 25 years. And one thing that comes across quite often on dating profiles is a woman saying, I want a man to make me happy. And that is delusional. Okay, so you just swipe left on that. It's impossible to make someone happy 24/7, 365 days of the year. There's 2 types of people. Some people are internally happy, like myself. So outside influences don't affect me. So the weather, politics, social interactions, social settings, they don't make me happy. Social media doesn't make me happy. I'm an internally happy person. I'm very happy with my who I am, and my outlook on life. Okay, then the other type of person is someone who is externally happy. Okay, they need social validation, maybe on Instagram. They need validation from people to tell them they look great. They need politics to be in the right frame to make them happy. They need the right environment to be happy. Those people will never be happy throughout their life because they are relying on external forces to make them happy, and those variables can go up and down. They're not consistent. So if they're all down, that person's unhappy. So no matter what you do, you can't make that person happy. So you want someone that appreciates internal happiness or has an internal happiness mechanism that makes them happy, not an external happiness. Another thing I've come across, guys, is ethical non-monogamy. Okay, this is something that's popped up in recent times with dating apps. And to me, it's an open relationship, or you can cheat on each other in your relationship. And I find this bizarre, because why would you go into a relationship where it's ethical non-monogamy? You go into a relationship based on trust. And there's feelings that have developed for the other person. There is emotions that develop for the other person. There's jealousies that come into play. So this is usually associated with a lot of younger people coming through. They state that on their profile, and it's a bizarre concept because everyone has feelings. Everyone has emotions. And everyone, some people have jealousy genes. I had a lighting and sound engineer that came around to my studio because I was having issues with the sound, and he was very well skilled in his area, and he pointed a lot of tips out to how to improve the sound. So if you're looking at doing a YouTube video, you're going to go through down this path with sound and lighting. And he was great. He was fantastic. He said, Scott, you're doing this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, that wrong. Fix this, fix that. And it got better. But anyway, my point is, he was a young guy. He was in his early 30s. And he said, so what's your YouTube channel? And I said, it's Honest Talk About Women. And we talk about things like relationships and marriages and things like that. And as soon as I used the marriage word, he said, I don't believe in marriage. I'm into ethical non-monogamy. And I said, are you? Okay, so what about feelings? What about emotions? And what about jealousy genes? And he looked at me and his eyes rolled a little bit. He said, what about them? So I left it at that because I was talking to a different mindset. And I don't want to argue because he'd done a great job, and I just wanted him to finish what he's doing and move on. So, but about 2 months later, he was down in the dumps and he didn't want to go out. And apparently his girlfriend cheated on him with another man. And he was deeply upset about it. And it's hurt his feelings and it hurt his emotions. And he obviously may have had the jealousy gene. I don't know. But that's the danger you'd play with when you do ethical non-monogamy. And I can tell you all the relationships I've ever been in, I've been 100% loyal. I've never cheated on the outside. And same as the woman I've been with, they've never ever cheated either. So we've always been in a monogamous relationship. And to me, call me old-fashioned, but that's the only way to go, I believe. To keep it sensible. So that's one thing I've observed with dating apps and people's profiles over the last 25 years. So where am I at in my journey? When I came out of my second marriage, most people want to still prove that they're a man and they can still get laid. And there's some quick, easy lays. And it was just that sort of masculine instinct in you that you want to prove that you're still a man, you can still catch women or draw women. So that's what happened in the early stages. And also, one thing I did notice in my hometown was that there was a steady stream of women coming into the town for 3 to 5 days on business, wanting a bit of action, and then moving out again. And mostly Australian women, also American Canadians, and there's the occasional South Americans. But what I found interesting was I met one woman, and she called herself the Aussie lawyer, and she was high-end, top shelf, working on the big corporate mergers and acquisitions, and we met up through Bumble, And it was like a cloaks and dagger relationship. You got to meet me in the lobby of the hotel, 5-star hotel, and you're not to engage in conversation with me. You're to raise your eyebrow very slightly to acknowledge me, and then follow me 3 to 5 meters behind me, and we'll go to back to my hotel room. Under no circumstances are you to talk to me until we get into my hotel room. So it's like a bit of a cloaks and dagger sort of relationship, and it's exciting to start with, and it's a new area I haven't explored before. But this started to remind me of my time in Las Vegas when I was a 19-year-old boy. When I was at university in New Zealand, you had a swapper program where you can get a green card during the school holidays, during the university holidays for 4 months, and go work in the United States. And I went to California, and I remember being in Las Vegas when I was 19, and I met a guy at a nightclub, and he was very smooth, and he just had this wow factor about him. I could see that a lot of women would gravitate towards him. Anyway, I started talking to him, and because I had a different accent, he was interested where I'm from. Not too sure whether he knew where New Zealand was, but he told me he was a gigolo, and I didn't know what a gigolo was back then. I was very green behind the ears, and eventually he told me what he did. And this is what I had in this sort of scenario with these steady stream of women who are very upmarket, beautiful, coming into Auckland wanting a bit of action. And I thought, that's not the business I'm in. I'm going to end this sort of stage of my life. I'm not doing that anymore. So I changed my focus to stay focused on the long term. I want a woman long term who meets a lot of my non-negotiables. So I don't want to put a lot of effort into short-term fun. It's because there's no long-term results, guys. You want long-term relationship, long-term fun, and you got to be selective on who you date. So that's another tip, guys. Don't waste your time with people that there's no long-term future with, and do what's right for you at the time of your life. So I managed to find a woman on Bumble. There is good women out there. You've got to look hard and find them. There are good women. So don't get negative. Don't get despondent. Don't go into the incel field where you start to get bitterness and aggressive towards women. There are good women out there. And to paint all women the same is incorrect. That's not true. I can tell that from experience. So I stumbled across a beautiful looking woman. Her profile ticked all the boxes, and with Bumble they've got to come to you rather than a male go to a female. So she came back to me quite quickly, and we started to develop a rapport. And she was 17. She's 17 years my junior, so she's 39. I'm 56, and she's got no kids. So that's when I'm on my non-negotiables. And she's been previously married. She's 13 years married, and now she's divorced. And I stated up front with her that I don't want any more kids, and I don't want to get married. And she's quite comfortable with that. And she also stated up front that she doesn't want to have kids. So that's a huge box ticked immediately. So we've been going out for the last 6 months. She's a non-smoker, no alcohol, no drugs. She's physically fit. She loves hikes. She meets the height requirements because you want a certain woman at a certain height where you can have great bedroom activity. She's got a lovely smile. So non-materialistic, non-argumentative. She's not on social media. And she doesn't want any social media presence. So brief photo of her there with one of our outings, and she's a really lovely woman. To protect her privacy, the sun has shaded out her face. She doesn't want a social media presence. It's early stages at this stage, guys. We're not intending to get married. Obviously, we're not having kids. We're not living together. And it's a simple relationship. We have separate finances. And so far, it's working out well. So that's it for today, guys. The next video will be on how to bang your woman. There's no formal training given in this area that I'm aware of. Most guys lack bedroom skills in this area, and it's crucial. You need to know how to do this. So next video will be on that subject. And until next time, do purchase my book, Alpha Dating. It will alert you to the green and red flags. I wish I had it when I was starting out, because I would have avoided a lot of errors. And also, don't forget to hit the like button and make a comment, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, take care.